Hello and welcome to English 2. I'm your online teacher, Miss Bear. We have been looking at a text called A Genetics of Justice by Julia Alvarez from Unit 8, No Flies Fly into a Closed Mouth. This is an Engaged New York unit where we are looking at how authors present details to develop and refine claims. As you know, this is part of a larger module of 3 different units where we're looking at these same things, how authors present details to develop and refine their claims. And we will be writing an essay at the end of each unit, and then we will be writing one major essay at the end of all 3 units or at the end of the module to look at each of the texts. Primary texts for these units. So the end of the unit task for this one is rely on your reading and analysis of A Genetics of Justice to write a well-developed response to the following prompt. How does the sentence, "No flies fly into a closed mouth," develop and refine one of Alvarez's ideas in A Genetics of Justice? So that tells us that we have to find one of Alvarez's ideas. And so she has multiple ideas, right? And so you just have to choose one of those and see how she develops and refines that particular idea. So let's dig in and look at today's agenda. We're going to do a masterful reading, then we will read and discuss, we'll do a quick write, and then we will close out with a little bit of homework. Possibly, maybe we'll be lucky and have another day of no homework where we just get to curl up with a good book, right? So let's dig right in and let's listen to a masterful reading of Julia Alvarez's A Genetics of Justice, paragraphs 9 through 11. Good job. Now I want you to work with a small group and I want you to reread paragraphs 9 and 10 and answer the questions on your screen. Good job. Now I'm going to need some volunteers again to come up and discuss the best responses, but I want you guys to share your ideas and how we can revise our responses to have as much information as possible, whether it's the ideas of our classmates or the ideas that are shared from the curriculum, and so and those kind of best answers as you will have it, or the model responses. So let's have our first volunteer come up and read and discuss this first set of questions. I noticed that some of you are a little embarrassed because you're having trouble with some of the Spanish vocabulary, and that's okay. I want you to feel confident whether you can pronounce the words correctly or not. That's okay, as long as you get your point across and your classmates know what you're talking about. And here's the thing, if they're laughing at you, somebody else would be laughing at them because they'd be having the same issue up here themselves. So don't worry about them, it's okay. All right, now let's get a volunteer or two to review the next set of questions. Great job. Now I want you to get back with that small group and I want you to use the answers that you just went over as a class and that you discussed, and I want you to write down some more information in your Central Ideas tracking tool. Great job. Now, either with the same group or a new group, you're going to reread paragraphs 9 and 10, 10 and 11, and you're going to answer the questions that are on your screen. Great job. Just like we did with the last section, let's have some volunteers come up and lead the discussion for these questions. Here's the first set of questions. Good job. Now let's look at the next set of questions and a new person to lead this discussion. I am so impressed with you guys. You're doing such a great job. Now turn back with that group and I want you to continue completing the Central Ideas tracking tool. Today went by rather quickly, didn't it? All right, now I need you to get out a sheet of notebook paper and let's do our quick write. So we're going to answer the question, how did the events Alvarez unfolds in paragraphs 9 through 11 develop a central idea of the text? Fantastic job. Because you worked so hard today, guess what? No homework again tonight, but that's okay. We're going to make up for it later on in this unit, and so you will have some homework, I believe, the next time that we get together. But because you've had 2 lessons in a row of no homework, I am hoping and praying with my fingers crossed that some of you have found a great book that you can share with your class. Maybe right now you can share out what book you're reading independently, or even kind of a scene that may have happened that you found interesting. But share out what you guys are reading, because it's important that some of your classmates may like what you're reading and may want to pick it up next. Until next time, happy learning.